So let's get back to the 5 steps I talked about earlier. Now, calling the grantor and building rapport. The reason I research and find out who the point of contact is I insist on my agencies I'm working with, the end users, to call these grantors. And let's start at the beginning. First and foremost, every grant, doesn't matter if it's federal, private, or state, they have a point of contact that oversees the grant. And what they do is this: they answer questions about the grant process. They review and approve the application and the justification paper, and they get the check cut for the approved grant. So the reason the grant point of contact, or POC, is important is it's their responsibility to spend allocated funds, but the project has to be sound and viable. You know, one of the myths I run into in this industry is I'll talk to agencies, they'll say there's no grant money, or they'll say I don't qualify for a grant. And the reality is this: everybody qualifies for grants, everybody. And there's billions of dollars in there. I've showed you just with FoxFury alone, there's over 1,600 grants I've surfaced nationwide, easily 100 to up to 250 per state. So the money's out there. The key is viable and sound. If your project's not viable and sound, it's not going to get funded. But every POC that is in charge of a grant, their job is to give away this money. It's been allocated. It's been determined it's going to be given away. It's determined that you're going to fund projects that the grantor feels need to be funded. It's your job as an end user, and with my job, because I'm doing this on behalf of FoxFury, is to work together to put a case that's compelling and viable that tells the grantor, yes, this project is sound and viable and should be funded through your grant. And remember, that point of contact, they understand the grant they're in charge of, and they understand the mission. And it's their job to help you, the end user, with any and all questions. So establishing rapport is essential. That point of contact is there to make sure the applicant is successful in getting funding. That's their job. And the reality is this: rapport is all about people that see commonality amongst each other. So people who are like each other or think they're alike are going to like each other. So the more you build rapport with them, the better. So let's go back here real quick. Let me walk you through what I would recommend you do. And this is what I coach when I work with you on behalf of FoxFury. I give you a script: who to ask for, what questions to ask them, what information to share with them, to go back and confirm everything that they've told you, and then ask them again, is there anything I'm missing? Having these types of conversations is going to help. And I give you a script because I've learned over the years that agencies and end users and point of contacts at the agency that I'm working with are very comfortable making that phone call. They just want to make sure they optimize the phone call and they get all the information they need out of it. So I put together a script that I give you, so when you call them, you can get the information you need to be successful.